Hello, I'm Reverend Portia Cabot, and I am a Power to End Stroke Ambassador, or Together to End Stroke Ambassador, as the American Heart Association campaign is now. I am happy that you have joined us for this segment of For the Love of You. As I stated, recognizing the health disparities that are in the African American community, and especially those that are affected by strokes, wanted to make sure that we have a candid conversation. And I'm happy today to have with me the well-renowned in his own right, Preston Love, who is a advocate here in the community with Black Votes Matters, recognizing all of the work that he has done, but realizing that he had a stroke not recently, and contacted him to come in and to share with us so that we would gain some insight on what it is to go through this process, but also to come out on the other side. And so I really do appreciate you coming and sharing with me today, Mr. Love.
Yes.
Or should I just say Preston?
Oh, Preston, for sure. Between you and I surely respect the work that you do in the community, and respect this initiative. And so it's my pleasure and honor to be with you this morning.
Okay, I must say that you are looking good. You seem to be coming along, overcoming the effects of your stroke. And so just feel free to share with us what you would have those that are tuning in to know about.
Well, first thing is looking good is part of the problem. Is I was looking good, before I had my stroke, and walking with a swag, and assuming that all of that would overpower the realities, which are the things you should be doing and things you should be avoiding in your life. And I surely, given the time we have, we'll talk about those. But the short story is that what I'm really trying to say is, by all appearances, that I was healthy and in good mental and physical shape, and had a stroke. Now, how is that possible? And so that's what we...
And we know how men walking in your swag, they'll
your
take
pardon.
care of your health, or make sure that you are doing what you need to do. And since in this winter months, with all the snow that we've had, and the snow days of being in, that a lot of people might have been snacking on some of the wrong things, not being physically active. And so tell us, in hindsight now, how could you, or what could you have done to help make yourself a little bit more healthy and prevent
lots of things, and I'll kind of go at that question backwards. What I've learned, and some of which I knew, some of the, I'm not going to probably list all of them, but some of the factors that will contribute to you having a stroke. One, it is your high cholesterol. And that's one that is a major one in my story. But high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, stress, lack of sleep, smoking cigarettes, drugs, alcohol. Did I say stress?
Yeah, so that's almost everything. That's everyday life.
Well, so it's who doesn't have any of those? But or some combination of those. And so, if you don't smoke, you're not immune, because you're doing one of the other ones. So that cholesterol is about eating lean meats and eating more vegetables and things. That is correct. And for those, and I must say, I'm old enough to know better, but really ignored boning up, if you will, or practicing, or even learning about cholesterol. Because there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol. It's your bad cholesterol which will contribute to some mess going on in your blood arteries.
The LDL.
And so what will happen is the possibility of clots. And clots are absolutely a biggie in a blood clot, to be specific, in the development of stroke. And in my case, that was a biggie. Not that first of all, I am diabetic. Secondly, I was diagnosed and was prescribed to take cholesterol pills.
Oh.
And I have breaking news. Okay. I didn't take them.
You didn't take them?
I did not take them because I didn't have enough understanding of the relationships. And, you know, I heard this, I heard that. I knew it intellectually, but I didn't practice, nor did I have respect for the dynamics of the bad cholesterol. I mean, that's the truth of the matter.
So did you not understand it, even though you heard about it or your doctor talked to you about it? What caused you not to want to take the medicine?
The same thing would cause any of us to not exercise when we know we should. It's just knuckleheadedness. Okay. And so really one of the messages that I would hope to leave with your viewers is African Americans are more prone to have strokes.
Right.
We carry percentage-wise a higher percentage of some of that list that I say. We're more likely to have high blood pressure and many of the things that I mentioned. And so, but the African Americans are more likely to have a stroke, and males just slightly.
Just slightly. I mean, I know women are at a higher risk of having a stroke, but it seems like men are having more strokes
yes, it surely does.
today, and a lot of them are not here with us to speak to this. And so we're very thankful that you are still with us.
Well,
and you
I
have
want to
done
say it's a
work.
pleasure to be on your show live.
Right.
And you could be on, I could be on your show. You could be saying, "Boy, Preston, he was a good guy. We're surely sorry, you know, that he had a stroke and died." And so all of that, by the way, is my new reality. Is that I now know that, oh yes, I can die, and there's some other things I'll tell you. But my punchline is this: that as an African American, I can say this, and as an African American male, I can say this, that we are hard-headed.
Oh wow, you said it.
I said it, and I can say it because I'm one of them.
Okay. And how are you hard-headed?
Hard-headed for the reason that I stated. I knew that, number one, that bad cholesterol was not good for you. Number two, I was diagnosed and was prescribed to take a cholesterol pill to help. And I very infrequently took the pill. And, you know, I told my doctor that, they went, oh my, you know, like, duh. But it was hard-headedness is the best way you can say it. I was just too much of a man and too smart for my own good, and didn't do the things that you should do.
Okay, so in not taking the pills, what were some of the feelings that you were having that caused or led to your stroke?
Yes.
We know that you didn't take the pills, but what were some of the other feelings?
I'm going to say this. My blood pressure was good.
Okay.
My blood pressure was not good the day I had the stroke, though. But so blood pressure was not an ongoing issue. My cholesterol was. I am a diabetic.
So it was under control?
Yeah, and I cheated on that. I was conscious and somewhat attentive to my diabetes. You know, I tried to cut down on my sugar. I tried to change my diet. And by the way, if I were not married to my wonderful wife, I would have had the stroke a long time ago, because she was working very hard to try to get me to do the things. But I would cheat. I would have a cheesecake, you know, by myself somewhere.
By yourself, out of sight.
Yeah, because I knew that everything was going to be all right. There's the hard-headedness that many of us exemplify as an African-American male. And so one of the things I want to say to the camera and to the listeners and to the viewers is, African-Americans, we need to really get ourselves together. That doesn't mean we're stupid. We just are not paying good attention to it. We have so many in our race, male and female, who are, so we don't want to jump over them. But I'm a witness to the fact that I felt, and this was my kind of a joke about looking good, feeling good. And so the answer to your question is I didn't have anything that was telling me you're not doing it, because if I had, maybe I would have begun to make the adjustment.
Okay.
What happened, and this is kind of educational about strokes, is when you have a heart attack, you have this excruciating pain.
Right.
You have an event that is very, you can remember it. It is a major event. You feel like you may die, but
there's some discomfort.
And that's saying it lightly. It's not so with the stroke. With the stroke, you just have had some damages going on in your brain and in your body, and then possibly clotting, that affects your abilities to do things, or affects your body, and maybe will cut the relationship between your brain and your body. And there's kind of a message center up there, and if part of that message center is damaged, then the message center doesn't send message.
Right, can't send message to your limbs and different
That is
things.
correct.
Right.
And then most of us know there's a left and right side of the brain. So when you have a stroke, the damage can be done to both or
sides.
one or the other. You can have hemorrhaging. You can, all of the above. You can have facial disconfiguration.
Right.
You can have
Slurred speech.
Slurred speech. You can have cognitive damage, meaning you can't think things through, or you might not remember, and then you may also have some physical, serious, all kinds of the range.
So the body goes through a number of things, but we realize that even with a blood clot or a blockage or whatever, that I learned now that there are different procedures that doctors can do within a 24-hour period of that feeling. But just walk us through the day that you had the stroke and how you are up to this day.
Yes. Well, first of all, I want to comment on you. There is a procedure, and maybe even an injection, that if, and I heard 3, 4, 5 hours, that actually can reverse the effects of a stroke. But if you pass that window, you don't get that. I did not get that, and I'll tell you that story and kind of why. So my day, the day of my stroke, first of all, I want to, if I may, say that in hindsight and in understanding the stroke and its effects, I had symptoms maybe as much as a week or two before. Had no idea.
So you knew something was going, or you didn't know that something was going on, but your body was
That's
sending
correct,
messages.
and I did not associate it with anything. For example, I wake up some days and my arm is kind of hurting. Well, the next day it's not hurting. You have these things that come and go. And so you don't necessarily run to the emergency or think you're having something. But I had a couple things worth noting, and it may be helpful to someone. One is my left, well, really both, but my left, from about a little higher than the ankle, would be like steel cold.
So your foot.
So something was going on there, and it was cold outside. So
you just thought that your foot just cold.
That's right. But my wife made a comment, man, oh man, what's going on with you? But it was a source of laughter. And let's get it warm and all that. But that was. I had some discomfort in my legs, and that was also.
So they were just going numb, or?
They were, but it wasn't dramatic. That's my point. Because if that happens, then you. So I wanted to say that there were signs and other things that I had a little headaches, but you have headaches.
Right, and
You
as
take
much
an
as you
aspirin.
work and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're doing and
Yes.
even planning for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Black History Tour, I
Yes,
can imagine
yes.
the stress.
Yes, I
that
had
you were
stress,
going through.
and let me add this. My story, part of it is I have an office. My organization, of course, is Black Votes Matter. We had an office there at 24th and Lake, right kind of between Lake and Ohio.
Okay.
And very large space, very expensive space, which I needed and used. But there came a time where it was hard for me to pay the rent.
Okay.
It was
So you had
hard
to
for me,
downsize.
and I didn't need all of the space I had.
Okay.
So I found I wanted to stay, well, more than just in the community. I wanted to stay kind of in the heart of the community, kind of at ground zero,
Okay.
if you will. So I found a space around the corner on Lake, right next to the Elks,
Oh, okay.
right in that little concave. So we moved. That was very, very stressful.
Okay, so the stress of moving in office.
Yes.
Right. Even though it's just around the corner.
Well, yeah,
You still had
the-
to pack up.
You had to pack up, and you had to coordinate so many things. Your internet, your power, your business, things you're doing. You can't just, well, you could, but the
Right, but you
disruption.
need all of those
So you have to kind of
services.
keep things, you have to time it, so when your stuff goes off over there and it goes on over here, where are we
Right.
in terms of the physical? It was stressful.
Okay.
So didn't think much about it. I knew it was stressful, but I think it was a contributor, quite frankly. I had a stroke right after that.
Okay, you're
So-
the executive director, so I'm sure that you were overseeing.
Oh,
all of the
absolutely. And
change.
you know, when you talk about these things, you know, I was not able to delegate it to
Right.
my vast staff.
Right,
It was
okay.
about me and my executive assistant and people that I could get to help.
Okay, so
And
then
so-
you put off your natural feelings within your body to get your work done, which everyone does every day. Go to work, earn a living,
Yeah.
and try to juggle everything else on
Yeah.
the side.
And I had many things in the air. In 2018, I don't want to go too far with this, but in 2018, was when I had the stroke, I completed and received a master's degree from Bellevue
okay.
University. I wrote my second book.
Okay.
I took my students on the most wonderful civil rights history tour, which we do every year, and some other things. My point is, I was doing a lot. I did a lot.
Okay, aren't
And
you teaching also?
I'm leaving things out.
Okay.
I
Right.
teach a course, you know, at UNO, and it's probably some other things. I'm not trying to make the list to impress you. I'm just saying.
Right, but no, you
these
have
were
a
the
lot
things-
going on.
A lot
Yeah.
going on, and then my regular community work, which is unpredictable and vast, and then we had an election, and
That's
I was
true.
heavily involved. with
Right.
that. So
In November, yeah.
all of that happened to me, or I did it to myself, and that piles up.
Right.
It's piling up. It's building.
Right, and the body is trying to keep up
Yes.
and to do its part,
All right.
but then the fact that it was sending you a couple of signals,
Yes.
and we realize that our bodies speak to us, but are
Absolutely.
we in tune
Yes.
with our bodies? And
Yes.
that's why
And the
it's
answer
so important.
is I was not. And partly why you're not is because you're so busy.
Right.
You know, there's signs that you're not. Ooh, let me think about that. And so that's the lesson.
Okay, so you got to look at the man in the mirror and
You
really
have to look
talk
at-
to yourself
yes.
and acknowledge what you're feeling
That's
or what
right.
your
You have
body
to be
might be saying.
sensitive and not hard-headed at the same time.
Okay, so now that we have reached that conclusion
yeah.
that men can be hard-headed
Oh, yes, we've done
and not pay attention, health-wise, it sounds like you had been to the doctor, but then sometimes it's hard to get men to go to the doctor
Yeah.
to even be honest and open with their
Yeah.
physician. So on the day of the stroke,
Mm-hmm.
how open and honest were you with the healthcare providers when they asked you questions?
Oh, I was, once I got to the hospital, oh, very honest.
Okay, at that point,
I got the message and got religion, that's in quotes, but I surely, by that time, maybe I should now answer your question. It's kind of my day of the stroke. So my wife and I, you know, I run an organization, so going to work to me is what I do.
Right. It's your passion.
Self-motivated, go to work because, you know, I don't have a boss and all that. You actually, if you really motivate, you end up working just as hard or
Definitely
harder.
put in long
Yeah.
hours.
My wife does not work, so but she's active also. Want to mention my wife, Martha Parker Love,
Right.
wonderful saint of God and a wonderful wife, and has been significant in this process. But so we started our day, and she went her way, I went mine.
Okay.
So in the morning, I began to notice a little more dramatic plague. You know, just what
Something wasn't right.
something wasn't right, and so but let me get on
Shake
with
it
this
off.
day. Yeah, let me shake it off.
Okay.
And so in the late morning, I was downtown and getting ready to go somewhere else. Got in my car and realized that I had lost all control and feeling
Okay.
and just control and feeling probably is the best couple of words on my left-hand side.
Okay. The whole left side arm.
Well,
leg?
the whole left side, but I only was focusing on the arm and the leg. I could not make them move. I could not do things with them.
Okay.
I could not raise my hand.
Okay.
I could only just kind of, so I'm in my car. Now, you know, just walk this through. I drive, I'm
With your
right-handed.
right, yeah, so you
and
use your
when you
right hand.
drive, you use, so I'm thinking, wow, something really off here. But maybe I can, mistake number one, I can get home.
So you still tried to drive with numbness on the left?
No, I did drive.
You did drive,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you just
Is
ignored
this going to be
the
on
numb-
tape?
Of course it's on tape. Okay, so in the numbness on the left, but utilizing your right. So did you drive home? Did you make it home?
Yes,
Okay.
but I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have done it, but I did.
Like you should have went straight to the hospital.
shoulda went
because that
straight
was
to
the
the-
fast.
and-
that was one of those signs. That was the
Oh,
fast
now it was
sign.
it was a big Mamu sign.
Okay.
So-
so the arm, all of that.
Yeah, but I'm
was a
Preston
sign.
Love.
Okay.
You know, I can drive on one side. Yeah, no, but that's the mistake. That's the silliness. That's the hard-headedness. So the answer, the continuation is, so I made a decision, right or wrong. I think it was wrong for a couple of different reasons. Let's just talk about a couple of the reasons real quick. First of all, it was very dangerous for me and the other people on the
right
road.
to drive. Okay.
And then secondly, I wasn't not capable of making maybe proper decisions on the road. All of that
Right.
aggravated. But this is underlining the point about your hard-headedness, quite frankly. But so, and I'm not sure everybody is hard-headed as I.
Right,
was.
but then you went home instead of going to check on why there was that.
Called my
numbness.
wife and told her I was. By the way, I did not think stroke.
Okay.
I thought something was going on wrong. Didn't think stroke yet.
Okay.
And so it's like I was thinking probably, if I could paraphrase, stroke-like stuff was going on. I called my wife and said, I'm having some real physical challenges. Can't understand it. I'm going to drive home once you come home and meet me.
Okay.
So left her a message. She didn't answer. So she probably would have said,
Go straight to the doctor. or
no,
go to
stay
ER.
right there. I'm coming to pick
Well,
you up
that's
or
true.
call the, yeah, that's what
Call
really should have happened.
911, right.
So, so I headed out home. Very interesting story. Headed out home, I realized I'm in trouble because I put my hand on the steering wheel.
Okay.
And
It just drooped.
yeah, and so I'm really seeing some of the effects of this dramatically. Yeah, I'm driving with, you can brake and all of that. But can't wait till I get home and I'm driving overly cautious, scared, quite frankly. And so, yes, scared. And so now I'm getting close to the house and I'm realizing that when I get there, if my wife's not there, I cannot get out.
Okay.
I cannot get out of the car and definitely can't get from the car to the house.
Okay. So even though you go straight home. And so in that, when we talk about the fast or the signs, you know, the face drooping, the arm limped, and you said your leg, and then speech wasn't slurred.
Well, this is where God comes into play.
Okay.
Well, God's in play all the time, but I'm saying blessings because of what the possibilities and what does happen to people who have stroke. Let me tell you what did not happen. I did not have the facial changes. I did not slur and
no speech.
not any. My mind was clear. Well, even though you can make your mind can be clear, you can make bad decisions. But you know, no cognitive.
Okay.
The left side of my face was numb, but in a funny kind of way. Unless you're eating or something, you don't really know that.
You wouldn't know that, right? Okay.
But the physical thing going on with my hands and arms and legs is just dramatic.
Okay.
And so I know I cannot get up. I surely cannot walk now.
Okay.
In my mind, I knew I couldn't. But and so, by the way, when I was getting in my car, I was kind of wobbly.
Okay.
But I was walking. But now it had gotten worse. I had the stroke now in its full throttle.
Thank you so much for tuning in for The Love of You. We're happy to have Preston Love with us and would invite you to tune in again next week as we continue the conversation with Preston Love and the day of his stroke.